When our people got to understand that there is a finite amount of money, when a country is suffering with a stagflation, high inflation, low growth for extended periods of time, which is a situation that's very hard to, build an economy to get out of a stagflation. But this finite amount of money has been siphoned off. Now, you get governments, they say, well, we want more direct foreign investment. Really? Do you really want that? Well, it's all very well if you can hold on to that money. You see, it gets siphoned off. They buy an asset, the asset, you would hope, makes some money, and then they extract the money back abroad, quite often with the asset, the value of the asset. Now, in the United Kingdom, for instance, Boris Johnson, that greedy flippin' fecker who's probably been suckling up to Vladimir Putin's little chocolate starfish, or the occasional golden shower, if you know what I mean. Yes, Boris Johnson, he was right up there, having parties in Siberia. Well, he brought in a thing called asset holding companies. Now, it's not new to the United Kingdom, and I don't know if the United States has asset holding companies, but I would not be surprised. You've probably got things worse than that now. But that was got rid of by David Cameron, and Boris Johnson brought it back in because the oligarchs love it. Now, what it means is that those who invest in the United Kingdom, they can do it as under the guise of a company that has asset holding criteria. Yeah. So basically, they can buy something via this asset holding company, and the company holds the asset. Now, any citizen in the United Kingdom can do that as well, but the citizen in the United Kingdom has to pay any taxes on the profits made of that asset. And if you sell the asset, they have to pay tax on those profits from the sale. But if you are a foreign investor, yes, a direct foreign investor, and you're holding monies in an asset, whether it be a business or land or property or housing, whatever it might be, you pay no tax. It's ring-fenced. Foreigners are paying no tax on the sale of British assets. Now, whether this goes on in the United States, I'm not sure. It'd be quite nice if somebody could tell me, all right? But it's an extraction of money. So that's one form of extraction of money. And then you got those who are buying shares in foreign companies, and they just sit on those shares. And then what happens to the dividends from them, those shares? Do they come back into the United Kingdom even though you've paid money out of the United Kingdom or the United States into this company abroad somewhere? Or do you put that money into somewhere that ain't going to pay any taxes? That's a sensible thing to do. You know, if you're a businessman, you say, but it's all extracting money. Now, this idea that we have a trickle-down economy, we all know that's kind of horseshit, isn't it? It really is horseshit. And it ain't surprising either that, the oligarchs, the demagogues, well, they're quite happy about that. You know, the people like Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, they're quite happy to be siphoning the money out of the country. They're not interested in trickle-down economy. They just want to trickle down just enough so you manage. So you can just about feed yourselves. That's what they want to do. So they can control you. Because they need you to carry on spending money as well. Otherwise they can't extract any more. Because if they bleed the economy, well then quite frankly they will get hit as well. But will they? Because as you will be finding it even harder to survive, you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your mortgage, you end up losing your houses. Who buys them? Those who have the money. So it's rinse and repeat. The oligarchs, the super rich out there, mega rich, the Elon Musks, the Jeff Bezoses, who's going around buying up farms because they're well, been sold off cheap. These people are happy about it. They make shitloads of money. But nothing filters down to you. No. You see, what happens is the money comes out of your pocket, you've bought something, it goes to Jeff Bezos, for argument's sake. He then shifts it sideways. Overseas. But this can only go on for so long, to a point where an economy cannot sustain itself when you have negative growth. This has been going on for decades. This isn't new. It's been going on for decades, a siphoning of money. Now, you can hide behind it, you see. You can hide behind growth when a country has growth. You might not really notice, you know. Not ordinary folk. Oh, I'm alright, I'm managed to pay bills, I'm okay, mate, you know. That's not too bad, is it? No. But when you've got stagflation and there's no growth, effectively well, I suppose, I can say I'm a boating man, so... you're in a boat that's got a hole. And all that money's flowing through that hole as you're drifting along. Wondering what you're going to do next, because you lost your job, you know. Your bank accounts become drained. Who owns the electricity companies? Who owns... Well, you know, United States, for instance. Like Peter Thiel and what have you. Who owns a lot of the hospitals? And these people are just literally bleeding you. It's like Sweeney Todd. That it is. Not just the throat, but bleeding you at the wrists. Purifying you could say. So pure, you're broke. You can't feed your kids. You start selling your children. Or eating them. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're bleeding the babies, eating the babies. They're full-on vampires, said Roxanne. Maybe she had something in there, maybe she was right. But it wasn't the Haitians, no, or the Democrats, no. It's the feckin' Republicans. Everything the Republicans blame the Democrats for, because they're an easy target, because they're weak. They're doing themselves. Quite frankly. No, the point of the video is if you don't stand up to this, you are going to be flat on your faces in no time. And when you consider, it's only been, 10 weeks now since Donald Trump took office? Well, what's he going to do in, 9 months, 18 months, to the end of his term? What is going to happen to the United States? And what if he does get a third term? What will happen then? Well, I'll tell you what we will see. We will see a huge uptake of suicides. We will see people starving to death. We'll see the return of rickets. You need to stand up for yourselves. You can't rely on the Democrats because they're feeble as hell. Then you've got a few decent Democrats, like, for instance, Bernie Sanders and AOC, Jasmine Crockett and a few others, you know, but they're not enough. You had Chuck Schumer voting for a flipping bill that steals from the American people. And then we've got our own problems in the United Kingdom because we've got a government that doesn't want to accept that Brexit is a disaster. We could up our economy by a minimum of 4%, maybe even 6%, if we had access to the European markets. I mean proper access. I don't mean this trade and cooperation agreement, which isn't really much at all because you've got taxes on that. And obviously rules of origin as well. You know, they get tariffs, flow back in. It makes it very, very difficult and expensive to trade. Businesses are having to suck up the extra costs of trade. It's all very well having tariffs and what have you. Donald Trump. It isn't just the cost of the tariff at the border. It's the administration of that tariff. And the changes that have to be made, the pricing structures, the websites, everything has to be updated. All costs money. And that's right across the board. People need to stick up for themselves. Need to stand up against these oligarchs, these demagogues, these tyrants, these people that are hell-bent on, well, destroying what you've managed to build up. And don't get me on to the racism. And don't get me on to black people supporting Donald Trump, or Latinos and that as well. These people have got a lot to answer for. For a start, they're obviously they're not particularly bright. They couldn't read the writing on the wall, even though Donald Trump was literally reading it out for you during these campaigns. Still voted for him. Blinded by love. He's the second Jesus coming, according to you. Anyway, what say the sensible trying to make sense of the nonsensical? Leave it in the comments down below. And please put the old like button. But if you're going to do anything at all, you need to stand up to it. Right to the MPs for a start. Your senators. People in government. Congress, just keep writing. Flood the zone, because it's exactly what Donald Trump has done. Flooded the zone. You need to flood the zone. There's more of you. I hope so, anyway. Anyway, please leave it in the comments down below. What do you suggest is the next move? Is it going to be down to Anonymous? Are they going to step up and do something? Apparently they took down Twitter yesterday for an hour. Apparently. But we'll see. We'll see. But please, boop the old icon. Boop. And you've got to subscribe to the channel. Little bell icon as well. Because then you get warm fuzzy feelings in your pocket every time I upload another video. And if you want to support the channel, you do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee or the super thanks and what have you. And the links are also down below. And it's much appreciated it is, because I couldn't do this channel without your support. I just couldn't. You know, at the end of the day, we all have to live like we do. And I've got very hungry doggies who happen to be sick and need lots of medication. That's why I get old, basically. Anyway, it's time for me to go. A bit like me, really, because I have my fair share of medication that I do. Yeah. None of it's much fun. No. One of them's like that, big tablet, orange tablet, looks like it came out of Donald Trump's. If he was a sheep, he'd have orange pellets, and that's what these flipping tablets look like. Toodaloo!